right, all right, all right. 2 days of festival, 3 days if we count Monday, the exclusive part. You've talked, you've networked, you've pitched, you've partied in the evening, you've thought of investing in some of the startups you've met here, so it's been 2 or 3 full days for you guys. But are you ready for the big highlight, the grand finale, the Founder Games? Yes, you are. Awesome. So, when the Webit.Foundation set out to do their work more than 10, exactly 11 years ago, the idea was to create something truly for those who want to make a difference, for those who start out and want to drive an idea, who want to scale and want to invest into their idea. When you start out, you need support. So the idea from the very start was to enable people, to give them an arena, and to invite as many as possible to Sofia from all around the world. And that means, of course, that you don't charge them, but that you create a venue and you make it as easy as possible for people to come. So from the very start, it's been truly a foundation's work. So startups don't need to pay to get access here. On the other hand, they provide a huge platform to attract investment. And the Founder Games have evolved in not only one of the most prestigious and oldest startup competition in the world, but also into one of the largest. As I've mentioned, people come from all over the world. So not only the CE region and Europe, but also China, Korea. We've got all of Asia, we've got South America, we've got the Silicon Valley. Indeed, I personally saw some people on stage today who came from California. So I think you're in the house, right? Yes, right there. Awesome. That's California representing over there. And it's huge in numbers. More than 4,000 startups apply to be here during these 2 days and to get the chance to pitch their business model. 150 are selected to get access to these 2.5 days. And once they're here, they have to really sell themselves as hard as possible on the startup pitches. From these 150 startups that have already been selected and that are all quite brilliant, otherwise they wouldn't be here, a jury then selects the 5 startups that they think are the most promising, that have the most cutting-edge technology, or the biggest idea that really is going to have an impact in our lives. And those are the 5 startups that we are going to see in just a few moments. But before that, of course, we want to give more stage to all the people that are behind this event. And as all things that start, they need a good push, and that's really what the founder of this whole event and of the foundation, Plamen Roussev, understood when he set out to create all of this. So when he comes on stage, I already want you to practice something that we are going to need later on to give these 5 startups a real push before they pitch. So what I want you to do is to wake up from this 2.5 days, get your energy back in, and when I introduce Dr. Plamen Roussev, also the executive chairman of the Webit.Foundation, I want you to do like a whoa. As all things that start, they need energy and people who support it. And I think that's the spirit of the community that I want to practice before we then meet the startups. Let's have one practice one. Oh, awesome. So please welcome Dr. Plamen Roussev. Whoa.
Whoa, that's a new way of introducing me. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, at the end of today, I promise you, I will keep my mouth shut for the next 1 month. Oh, but so far so good. I have some words to say and some checks to sign. So I promise I'll do my job. First of all, congratulations to all of you. I'm guessing the room is full of the startups that were among the selected out of 4,000 from all around the world. And it was a wonderful and also very time-consuming endeavor. You can imagine how you go through all these amazing ideas, dreams shared, and of course, business vetting in order to select the decent, amazing, huge number of great startups to be presented here at Webit. And I'm grateful for this nice presentation. Thank you so much. It's really very important for us to do what we do because it's the Webit DNA. It is what Webit stands for. It is about empowering entrepreneurship. And we do this for over 11 years. And it's not only talks. When we started here in Bulgaria, the humble beginnings, you can imagine there were like 15 entrepreneurs. And it's hard to build up, but it's a great start to start with. Now there are like thousands here, and we have 4,000 from all around the world applying for Webit. So we've done something. Well, it took us 11 years, but as we say, the overnight success comes after 10 to 20 years hard work. I'm sure you know this. So that's how it works. And to cut the long story short, we have one rule at Webit. We only bring and we only support people with hearts. Meaning, we don't expect you to commit back to the community when you become a multi-billionaire. We expect everyone to commit to the community on the way of becoming a great entrepreneur. Because you might never become a multi-billionaire, but on the way you might support others who one day will become such. And that's very important because they will help other people and they will help other people, and that's how we build our global Webit family of entrepreneurs, being grateful to each other, carrying their hearts what really matters. It's the shared necessity of supporting and creating a better world because everything else doesn't matter. And I'm sure you know it. So that's the Webit way, and that's very important for us as values. And now, I will stop here because it doesn't go without support by partners. We support all the startups. None of you, especially those that were selected, had to pay anything at Webit in terms of their stands, in terms of their tickets, in terms of anything. And you know very well that we do it for a purpose. We are not, I'm going to use now quite a good word, milk startups. We're not milking startups. We're helping startups. We're not taking money from entrepreneurs. We are giving grants to entrepreneurs, and that's our passion. And that's what Webit.Foundation is for, and it's a non-for-profit. So all of you here, you are here because we would like to help you. We gave you the stands so you can meet with startups. We have teams that were helping you with all your one-to-one meetings with investors. We did this because we wanted to help you, and we will continue doing this as we've done it 10 years ago. Of course, in order to do this, we have partners. And I'm very grateful and proud to have our Platinum exclusive partner here in the face of Microsoft.
Please welcome Director EMEA, Microsoft for Startups, Andrew McAdam.
Thank you.
I thank you. Thank you because of people like you, Webit.Foundation can do what we do, and being here means we share same values.
Yeah.
And I truly do appreciate Microsoft for Startups working with us together at this one of the biggest startup challenges in the world, really finding the best of the best and supporting them as much as possible globally. Thank you.
And thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. I think even what you were just talking about a second ago with regards to the journey that you've been on, I think what we've seen and what you really exemplify is what it takes to succeed in business. There's an old adage that's given to many people, but the harder I work, the luckier I get. So sometimes I hear you say, I've been lucky, but I don't think that really does justice to the amount of hard work that you put into this. And we were honored last night. And I say we because I've got a phenomenal team that's been supporting me as well. Johnny and Anne-Claire in the audience, they've done an absolutely amazing job with regards to supporting us and supporting Microsoft for Startups and really engaging with the startups as well. But the thing that I would say is, last night you gave us the honor of giving us an award for empowering entrepreneurship.
And you do it.
But look, I mean, it's core to our business. I mean, genuinely, we talk about empowering every person and company on this planet to achieve more. And it comes from the top. It comes from a massive change that we made a few years ago with our new CEO, Satya Nadella. Someone that genuinely is affecting such enormous change in our organization, a new culture, a culture that's shifting from probably historically what Microsoft would be known for, a little bit know-it-all, to the new culture of learning it all. And I talked last night about curiosity. And one of the things I have to say that I've enjoyed so much over the last 2 days, I've been the most curious person around. The number of startups that I've met in the last couple of days, truly inspirational. And you've already mentioned the diversity as well, the countries, the backgrounds, the cultures that they come from. And I think this is one of the things that Webit is just doing amazingly well at the moment. It's bringing so many different people, creating so many new networks, and it's been fantastic to be part of this process. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I do appreciate every word that you say, and it definitely resonates with our DNA and values. So again, thank you for joining. We are going to have some amazing time here, because at that very stage will be the best of the best. I mean, can you imagine out of 4,000 startups getting here only 5?
I know.
I mean, it's
incredible. And to be honest, it's not been an easy process either. I mean,
no.
when we think, again, I mentioned the word diversity, when we think about the way that we're trying to balance between all these different companies as well, you know, it's absolutely amazing to think about the effort that's gone in, taking those 4,000 and bringing it down to 5. And I think the key thing really is everyone that's been involved, everyone that pitched. I'm sure, have we got many people here that did pitch? Yeah? Make some noise then. Yes? Yes, okay, cool. And the effort that goes into that, the energy, I'm sure afterwards you're exhausted but elated at the same time. And that's kind of the whole thing about the pitch process. Yeah. It doesn't suit everyone, and it's a tough thing to do, but when you're done and when you're finished, and that feeling that you get afterwards of completion, and I think that's the thing as well. You know, sometimes when we're looking at the companies, the energy that people bring when they're doing those presentations makes it even harder sometimes to understand, you know, which the best is, and even start to distinguish between the companies.
Yeah. Sometimes passion is mistaken with aggression. So this also comes naturally. So, but at the end of the day, we are here today to award the best. And let me give you a very clear idea of that awarding. So until now, what we have done is no equity taken. It's completely pro bono for all of you. Everybody, those days at Webit, you had full access to everything. All the investors, all the enterprise leaders, they were all yours. It was you and the opportunity to approach them and to get their attention. Now at that very stage, what we do, it's not only awarding the best of the best with the title best of the best, but it's us supporting further with financing. And the check that is going to be written could be up to 200,000 euro or above. And it is up to the decision that we are going to make with the jury members. And the process is very simple. It's written on the website, but I again say it. All of us give the money from our own money. It's not from Webit.Foundation. It's us, the business angels that support you, who will be giving our own money. It's nobody else's money. So you can count that you will have a lot of questions for us, but at the same time, if we invest, we will commit all our networks. It's not only the money. I would say those that get our awards will have one of the cleverest money, the smartest money in the world. And you will know why once you hear the names. Just to add here, there is an optional award from our partner, Microsoft for Startups, which will be entirely at the discretion of my dear friend here, Andrew, and of course his team. So it's you guys who have to win our minds and our hearts here on that very stage. It's us who make the final decision who will get our money. So let's see who are the people with us here on the stage. Very proud of all of them, and thanks for joining us here.
Yes, as you said, there are more clever minds behind this. On the first hand, of course, more advising behind the stage, behind the scenes, and advising the jury during this huge task of selecting the finest of 4,000 startups. So I first would like to complete the row of advisors next to Andrew. And next to him is also Daniel Kraft. Please come on stage. With him, Sriram Prakash. And we have Gilil
Thank you so
Novak.
much, Daniel. Thank you for joining.
Gilil, where are you? Gilil Novak. Yes. And did I forget somebody? According to my list, these are all the advisors. And we continue with the jury.
Please.
So the jury also consists of Jesus Mantas, Christoph Ibushev, Diego Pescantini und
Thank you. Thanks, Diego.
all right, I see I made one of the advisors a jury member, so I forgot about Shokat Shamin in the row of the advisors.
Shokat is still to
no,
come.
Here. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much. Well, just a short introduction for you. I start with the simple task. I will introduce you my friends who joined me and committed to bring their money to you. I start with Shokat. He is the founder of and one of the creators of Yahoo Messenger, a serial entrepreneur with huge success rate, currently running one of the best AI companies based on video recognition. I call it Google for videos, but most probably he would call it differently. And then Diego is running a fund of one of the wealthiest people in UAE, Sheikh with a long name. I will let him, with all my respect, Diego, I can never say the whole name, and, and I would leave it up to you. And then we have Christo Ibuchev. He's a business angel, a fellow Bulgarian. His tickets are from 1 to 5 million. And we have Jesus Mantas, a truly amazing individual, not that the rest are not. And he's a business angel, investor in many companies, and he's running a very large enterprise over is part of the even larger enterprise, a 17 billion part of it at IBM. And then we have our reputable and amazing advisors, so they make sure we don't make mistakes. It's Sriram Prakash, who is Deloitte Digital, and we have Ilat, who is Lake Star, and a very successful investor with a long success story, including a company that a guy called Mark Zuckerberg created, I think. Daniel Kraft is a superstar in the healthcare. I'm truly honored to have him here with us. I've already announced him on that very stage. And of course, our exclusive platinum partner, Microsoft for Startups, and Andrew. So now you know who we are. And I hope you won't doubt our decisions. I've been investing in companies for the past many years, invest in different companies around the world in a number of verticals. Healthcare is one of them. Another one is fintech. I've got some other investments. I'm very proud investor also in Shokat's company, U+. So we start here, and let's see where it will take us.
Yes, before we start, I first would like to know what have you actually been looking for? Like, what was the criteria to select the final selection, and what are you looking for tonight?
Well, should I
Yes.
wrap up and then we've got, by the way, we just came from our last board meeting, and we made the final decision, which was a very tough one. Well, basically, as all the participants know, because it's been publicly announced, there are 5 criteria that we really keep an eye on it. It's scalability, it's the team capacity, because great ideas without great teams are nothing. We go for business development, because that's where the money comes from. And we go for the uniqueness of the idea, because it might bring something to skyrocket it. And of course, it's very important how the particular startup is presented here, because again, at the end of the day, it's all personal. It's our personal money. So if we don't like personally somebody, it's not going to work at all, regardless of the idea. Anything to add, my dear fellow jury members?
I think you got it properly.
Thank you. Well, that was the support I needed.
So from the criteria, as I heard, I mean, I've seen the startups on the list. It goes really all the way from fintech to health tech. It goes to social enterprises. So it's all verticals you possibly could think of. Is it easy to compare that?
Just for the record, and I will leave my fellow jury members say, we focused on the areas, not only that. Again, I told you it was very important for us at the end of the day, the personality, and I told you why. Because if these people do not help the others, they are bad role models, especially for me. I hate to support somebody who is selfish and who is there only for the success itself. I would never go for this. Never, ever. And if I go there, I will be very, very sorry. Because if a selfish person becomes a successful person in terms of money, he is the worst example in the world that I would support. And forget about money. I don't care about the money when it goes to creating bad examples. For me personally, what really matters is the good example. That's very simple. But of course, I'm not taking the stage here anymore, so go ahead.
I think you guys see startup pitches every day, all year round. So is there something that still can surprise you? Was there something that surprised you in this selection process?
I think, surprise. We look at innovative business models, but then the pragmatism of their execution, right? So one of the things that we look at is, I think the easy part, anybody has been an entrepreneur knows the easy part is having the idea. The hard part is actually driving the execution and then scale it in. So I think on some of the finalists, what we have seen is they have proven enough. The market is big enough. Some of them, I think, is just the ability to execute on an innovative idea may surprise us positively, and we hope that they will.
If I may add, what surprised me actually was the fact that many people have undertaken, small teams have undertaken huge problems, and they have tried to tackle them. Not huge companies. I'm talking teams of 2, 3, 4 maybe, and they're working on them, and with all the hope that they will find the money, that they'll find the solution, and they'll find the right partners to bring this to market. And this is fascinating.
Maybe if I may ask you, we look at so many different regions. Do you see some regions that are coming really strong recently?
Well, definitely this region is getting super strong, I would say. Bulgaria is absolutely astonishing from that. I see other countries, but I would say the environment that you have in Bulgaria is absolutely perfect. Yeah? I come from Switzerland. In Switzerland, we see that we try to provide a lot of support to startups as well. But somehow the great positive pressure that I could feel here, it's quite unbeatable. So I would really vote for that.
Nice.
Thanks to people like Plamen.
Well, that comes as an immediate consequence, of course, right? So, I mean, you have Plamen and you have this environment which is supporting startups as I've never seen in my life anywhere in the world. So you guys are lucky.
Wonderful, thanks a lot. I think we should move on, actually, and find out who you guys selected to be here on stage tonight. And if I look at my list, I actually am surprised myself, because I announced 5 startups, and I think it's been a tradition every year that there are 5 startups. But somehow this year, you wanted to give back more to the community because I see a list of 6.
Well,
so we have a surprise guest on stage.
We've never had 4,000 startups applying. I think not only we, I think there is no startup challenge in the world that ever had 4,000 startups, which of course made us select best of the best. It was a very tough selection. And we ended up with one that's, you know, it's about happiness. Let's make one more happy person here.
Wonderful, and I think all of these 6 startups certainly deserve some energy simply for having it made on stage tonight. So, like I said, we start with the pitches, but first I want to give you the rules. Each startup has a short moment to set up, and once they're set up, we'll start. We'll give them a little boost as we did earlier. Then they will have exactly 6 minutes to pitch. After 6 minutes, there will be a sound signal. That's a signal for them to stop, so they can say 3 more words to finish their sentence. Then we have around 3 minutes for questions by the jury, also stopped by a sound on time, maybe a few seconds more to finish the sentence at most. And after we're through all of these 6 startups, the jury will go backstage for a moment and take 10 minutes to find the final verdict, and then we'll be back on stage and announce the winner of this year's Founder Games.
Yeah,
So
it's that simple.
it's very simple, it's very classic, no magic behind that. I hope that the order of startups I have on my list is also the order that they will pitch in. On my list, I'll just go through the order, maybe backstage. Can I see the stage manager give me a nod if I'm correct? I don't see nobody.
I think you should read the list because all of these people, they don't know who is the list. So
let's start with the list and let's give them an applause for having made it on this so far. So we've got startup number 1, Bruce. Number 2, Tiliter. Number 3, Plant E. Number 4, WeFarm, Dynasise, and TestCard.
Yeah.
So, can I see a stage manager give me a nod if that's the order we're going to pitch in? No. Is Bruce the first startup to come on stage? Please come on stage now. They seem to be surprised. Seems like they were working on their business plan in the backstage. All right, do we have somebody to start pitching? Oh, I get a sign to spend more time here.
So it's Bruce, Tiliter, Plant E, WeFarm, Dynasise, and TestCard, right?
Sorry?
It's Bruce, Tiliter,
Plant E, WeFarm,
Dynasise, and TestCard.
Yes.
So we're
I think
aligned.
we have to cover some time.
Yeah, that's good. We're all aligned, the same list.
But Plamen, maybe let me ask you, since you've seen obviously the Founder Games from day one, what have been sort of like the verticals that are really picking up now, and what do you think is like a new area for startups really to dive into where there's lots of potential?
Well, we have 21 plus verticals. It's been growing during the years, but what really struck me this year was the amount of startups from Silicon Valley applying for the Founders Games in Sofia. And it's quite amazing for the mecca of the investments to take the plane and come to Sofia, which 3 years ago was referred as the capital of the poorest country in EU. Well, now, thanks to Webit, it's called the digital capital. But to fly all the way to find success. And one thing is for sure, they will, because it's not about locations.
And direct flights.
And direct flights, indeed. It's about who is helping you and who will give a hand on the way. And as you know, we only allow startups who receive up to 10 million of investment so far. So those are that we can help almost, entirely. That's why I say this is the smartest money you can get, especially when it comes to your European scale. But I mean, it's a great opportunity. So the fact that we have these companies, I'm not speaking about companies from Australia, all around Europe, etc. But if the narrative now works that Webit that takes place in Sofia or anywhere else outside of US is attracting these type of US companies, that's a huge change. And it shows generally the change that it happens. This general shift of power that we see brings different type of opportunities on the map, and I'm happy that we are catalyzing this and helping grow further.
Actually, speaking about Sofia, I myself am from Berlin, but I realized a lot of people I'm connected with suddenly are located in Sofia, trying to launch their startup here.
Because of
So it
Plamen.
seems like it's increasingly becoming more and more powerful and very attractive to startups.
Yeah.
What do you think are the two defining factors that make Sofia so interesting?
Well, Sofia has been named, besides being called digital capital, there is a person here in the room, where is Professor Rob Walker, there he is, who put it on Forbes that Webit catalyzes the whole growth of the sector, which was very kind. But what I say is that it's a developing ecosystem based on the right values. And it's not Webit, it's not me, it's, well, we were, let's say, one of the catalyzers and the catalysts in the beginning, but then it's about empowerment. You know, it's about self-confidence. When all these people from Bulgaria and from the region see 120 countries coming here, it builds self-confidence. They say, well, we can do it. We can be there. It's all about believing in yourself. If somebody's speaking in front of me and pitching his company, not being sure, it's like, well, it's a no-go, isn't it?
All right. I've actually heard that backstage they've sorted their order
You
out.
you used me for some time, Phil.
Yes.
I got it, so let's do the job, yeah. Time
Well done.
filler, it's
But thanks a lot. So I think the first one to go is Bruce. Please come on stage. Please, this is your spot to pitch. Are you set up? The presentation is ready to go.
I hope so.
Please address the jury as well as the audience. Make sure you look at both. And of course, not everyone gets to pitch in front of 1,000 people here in the space and much more watching on the live stream. So if you're ready to go, we'll give you the signal. Oh, let the games begin.
Dobro den, everyone. I'm Adrian, founder of Bruce. Life is all about opportunity. Everything starts with an opportunity. The problem is, when it comes to the job market, it is not always there. Finding a job should not be about chance or personal network. But in reality, where you are from or who your parents are often matters more than who you really are or what you are capable of. At Bruce, we believe that everyone should have that opportunity because it is essential to the success of everyone. So that is our mission. We create opportunities for everyone to find the right job that help them achieve their dreams. How do we do that? At Bruce, we created close relationship with recruiters and talents so that we have access and we understand the key data that matters to understand what they are looking for and with who they're going to be successful. So we use technology to put back intelligence where it often lacks and where it can help people fulfill their potential. And as you know, the world runs faster. Economy is more and more flexible. We live in what we call the on-demand economy. You can get everything anywhere in a minute just with your mobile. So Bruce is an on-demand talent app that creates opportunity by matching talent and businesses with a combination of human and artificial intelligence. Recruitment, as you know it, and job search is a pain. It takes a lot of time and money to recruit. And bad recruitment costs company billions of euros every year. So we made recruiting as easy as ordering a Uber on your app. We, through our fully automated technology, we managed to recruit and take care of all the contracting and payroll of the talents in just minutes. Yes, minutes. Our record is only 16 minutes between the moment a company ask us for help, and the moment a talent starts working at the company. Yeah, I know it sounds crazy because it is. It's insanely fast and efficient. That's why we have known in the last 3 years a huge growth. People love Bruce, and they say it, and they talk about it. So in the last 3 years, we've been growing our revenue by 100. We have now reached 200,000 users, and we're only operating in France. Our next step, thanks to Webit, I guess, is to go international. We are attacking a $400 billion market, and with an amazing mission, that is to create opportunity for everyone. Thank you very much, and
All right, you actually used less time than you had, so well done, well rehearsed in your pitch. And we now have 3 more minutes for the Q&A, so you can reset the time on 3 minutes, and we go with our jury.
Yeah.
What questions do you have?
Can I start?
Please.
Your business model. So tell me, how are you going to make money? Is it from the people being employed or from the companies employing them?
very easy business model. The talents that are looking for a job, they don't pay anything. Of course, it's free. We're helping them achieve their dream and find the right job, so we don't ask them a cent. Who's paying? The companies. We charge them a markup on the salary of the person that we put at their disposal, a 15% markup, which is 30 to 15% less than the usual cost in the staffing industry.
And then the follow-up is, why exactly, what would you pinpoint? What is the one reason why you scaled to 200,000 users so quickly? Is it on the supply side, like you had a lot of jobs, or the demand side, the application is very easy to use?
Both sides are going good, but of course, the demand side, they really love it because they do everything through their app. They don't even need to go out of their home to find a job, and they find it in just a few hours. So for them, it's amazing, the difference between traditional staffing and recruiting agency.
So I have a question. You said in the beginning of your presentation that you make analysis, in essence, of the demand, so the employer, and the employee, what they're looking for. Is that online, or how do you make that? Does the employee fill his form?
Yes.
And the employer also fills a form?
Exactly. Both sides on the app.
How do you know if there's a disconnect? Well, you're doing it with professionals.
Okay, so we have like a team of scientists that works on this, that with the help of our recruitment specialist, to try to find what is exactly the right equation. So this is something working right now already, that's helping us to be more competitive than the traditional staffing company, but we're looking for really keep going on this side. So
it's manual or it's automatic?
It's automatic. The only part that is manual is we still have live interview with our consultants.
Okay.
So we privated the profile, and once we do that, they're in our pool of talent, and they're ready to be working with us as soon as there is a new job that can fit their needs.
So you're a recruiting company, so you have in one end you have to have a resume database, right? And people who are looking for jobs. And the other side you have 10 million other recruiting companies with all kinds of technology. Looks like you're automating the old school recruiting thing. How do you see yourself fitting in that? Because competition, you said it's $400 billion, but there are also 100 million companies doing that.
Yes, but they don't do it the way we do it. First of all, we really have a cutting-edge technology. Since the
why is your way better is the question. I'm sure that you do it differently.
I didn't hear the question, sorry.
Why is your way better than the others, not that you do it differently?
What I can answer is like the love we have from our customers. Our customer, we're working with the big names of this industry since years. When we start working with them, they're just like, okay, we're going to do a trial. But as soon as they do the trial, then they give us more and more and more people to recruit because they really love it. So the customer is the king, as you know.
We continue with the questions. We will decide when to stop with the questions. Thank you for giving us this information. We'll keep on giving us, but please go ahead with the questions.
All right, more questions? I see one.
So I've got a question. People, you're in a two-sided marketplace. People tend to exaggerate in their CV, and companies which recruit them oversimplify the job recruitment process. So how do you match this exaggeration on one end and this oversimplification on the other?
We have a system of references that are taken through the app. We have also algorithms that try to monitor social information to try to see if there is something that tells us, oh, maybe there's a problem with this curriculum. And very often we have to do some manual checking to make sure, like, if there is really a problem, to make sure we don't do anything wrong. So a lot of double checking, automatic with algorithm.
If I look at the jury, it looks like you learned all you need to know.
Just have one more question on your future. So there is the technology element of what you do, but then you do actually provide a recruitment service.
Yes.
So you're a recruitment process outsourcer of a form. Is that your future, to basically grow that portion of it? Or is your future to just have the best recruiting platform that anybody could use?
Okay, I'm not sure I understand good what is the difference.
You have you have good technology that is enabling a recruitment process that anybody in the world could use.
Yes.
In addition to that, you actually are recruiting on behalf of companies because you have consultants that are interviewing, they're matching. There is a judgment element of it. So in a way, you're a recruitment agency on that side. So your business model is a combination of the two, the software and the people operation. As you scale in the future, do you keep that? Do you become more a software company or more an operating company?
In the last 2 years, the more we scaled, the more we became a technology company, and this is the direction we're going to.
Okay.
I have no questions also, so thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right,
Great
thanks
job.
a lot. So, I'd love to invite on stage our second startup tonight, Tiliter. Please come on stage. Welcome. The clicker. Stage technician has a clicker for you. It's coming there.
Thank you.
Perfect. Yes, please take the middle, address the audience and the jury as well. You're set up and ready to go?
Okay, great. Hello?
Yes, so let's give him a start. Whoa, let's go.
Hi, I'm Martin, co-founder of Tiliter, where we teach checkouts to recognize products without barcodes. Think about the last time you went to the supermarket. You walk in and you see a wide variety of fresh produce. You can have up to 12 different types of red apple that look pretty similar but differ in price. You grab a few different types of items and then you head to the checkout. But what are we faced with? Every time, everybody's worst nightmare. Long lines of frustrated shoppers just waiting to get out of the store. And you think, how long is this going to take to get through? But you persist and you get to the checkout. Let's look at the self-service checkout for a little while. You scan through a few barcoded items and they go through quick and easy. But then we get to our fresh produce. And all of a sudden you're presented with a huge you've never even seen before. And what were those red apples that we got earlier? Pink Lady, Red Delicious? We can actually just put them through as the cheapest onion we can find and get on out of the store. So far you're faced with a time-consuming journey, a really poor and frustrating experience, and you're presented with the option to put through an expensive item as something cheaper. And this costs supermarkets billions of dollars a year in losses. And because of these losses, they go to the extent of plastic wrapping fruits and vegetables just to put a barcode on them. In fact, the two largest supermarkets in Europe alone produce over 800,000 tons of plastic per year to solve this. So what we've done to solve all of these issues is create a camera and software system that connects to existing checkouts and identifies fruits and vegetables so you or the cashier don't have to anymore. We can install this on any existing checkout in supermarkets right now, and with over 99% accuracy and under 1 second recognition speed, this is the latest in AI technology that supermarkets can adopt today. And the fact that we don't need internet connection to work and can actually run on low-cost equipment means supermarkets can adopt this right now. We're already working with manufacturers of checkouts to ensure that the next range of checkouts come embedded with our software. But what we also use is their sales systems to reach a wide variety of supermarkets across the US, Europe, and Australia to upgrade the existing systems at a really low cost, and with little to no infrastructure changes to their IT system. And it's not just retail that we see these issues. There's manual, slow, time-consuming identification processes that occur in other industries, such as manufacturing or healthcare. We can actually tailor our solution for these verticals and create a software solution that integrates to their businesses. Being a SaaS business, all they have to do is pay a yearly subscription fee, or the checkout manufacturers pay a licensing fee where they label our software. We're located in Munich, Germany, where we were part of the last plug-and-play accelerator, where we built relationships with corporates, big tech companies, and supermarkets. I'm Martin Karafillis from Tiliter. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Martin. So you've got also, you undercut the time, so I see all the startups really were well prepared. Maybe that's why you took a little long backstage. So please go with the questions.
Okay, I will go first. Your opportunity list had Volkswagen and Airbus in it. Last time I checked, they don't do scanning. So I totally get how you're doing the grocery stuff, but how are they your customer and partner? Maybe you can explain. And the other part on this one is, what's your technology? Are you building a scale, or are you building the image recognition that people are licensing?
Yeah, so really it's the software, the image recognition software that we produce. We can work on multiple different types of hardware. We've produced software that works on low-cost hardware, such as a Raspberry Pi and a Raspberry Pi camera. So this can be implemented in multiple different industries. In the supermarket scenario, a small camera is placed inside the checkout systems and then runs our software in the background. When we talk about other industries such as manufacturing, it's as simple as putting a small camera on the manufacturing line to identify different objects rather than a person that does that process.
Okay, but how, for example, for you to reprogram from fruits to sneakers, how expensive is it and how long would it take?
Yep. So that's one of the great things about our algorithm. The whole idea is the fact of our training data is minimal pictures, basically. So a customer can actually take just 5 different images, and we simulate different environments and different areas and train this and then scale that across. So for example, in the fresh produce area, actually we created all of that data in Australia in our office. And then we had our demo here this week. We've gone and bought fruits from the local Lidl, and then we've seen all of those fruits work here. It's much the same with all the other areas.
And how difficult is it to copy you? Because the way you make it sound is really easy. So how difficult is it for somebody with from a lower cost base or a competitor, in that essence, to copy you?
Yeah, so there's a couple of aspects to that. There's the actual identification system that it is, and really our tech team is one of the best tech teams that you'll find. Yeah, obviously if a company wants to feed in a heap of money, we heard this a bit earlier from our friends at Delete there, that yeah, someone can create a technology, but to actually implement that into a business is another hurdle alone. So integration is something that we've worked on even more than the tech itself. Actually being able to embed this technology into businesses and their existing infrastructure is probably just as hard as what the identification process is actually. And dealing with corporates and getting past that stage is another one of those things.
And final thing, on the checkout counters in particular, they've been thinking a lot about actually incorporating RFID tags, well, when they get cheaper. So technically speaking, you weigh your fruits, you get a RFID tag, well, now you get a barcode, and you check out. It's already, in essence, pretty much here. Do I need, as a supermarket, to buy your technology, which probably is more expensive than that, because already we have these technologies. Do I need to buy it really and install into a new technology? Why would I?
Yeah, so really what we see with Retail 2.0 or Brick and Mortar 2.0 is going to be a mix of these different types of technologies. When we talk about actually being able to identify all kinds of different objects that don't have barcodes, objects that are hard to actually place in front of items, but Another thing that I'd sort of point towards is the fact of things like RFID tagging and different types of tags is really essentially the same as a barcode situation. We get asked this scenario.
But it's faster. Because in an RFID scenario, I get on my bag, one scan, and it's gone. With you, I get 1 second per scan.
Yeah. Yeah, well, a lot of that is actually to do with the current infrastructure more than anything and being able to upgrade the current infrastructure at a low cost. So for a supermarket actually to go to these other levels after an operating series, yeah, okay, their return on investment is going to be there, but in the short term, our option is much cheaper, and then we see once the replacement of a checkout comes through, then our software is already embedded into that.
So my question was, how much more expensive is this setup with traditional setups? Do you have any idea?
I wouldn't have any idea, but one of the biggest things is we really concentrate on the fact that we can do it at a low cost, particularly for a retail area, because cost is everything.
So what kind of products it works with? Because I mean, what about lentil?
Sorry.
How do you buy 3 kilos of lentil, for example?
Lentil? Yeah.
Yeah.
So if it's already bagged, we can actually process this through bags, something that we demoed today. So that's one of the scenarios, I think.
So we don't save the earth because it's still packaged, right?
In some instances, yes, on one of those situations. There are different areas where we see recyclable bags. So for example, there's actually a shop in Munich that is completely reusable bags. There is no new plastic that's being involved, and we start seeing that kind of approach being seen by supermarkets. One of the big things is the packaging around the actual barcodes being put on the items, particularly for, say, red apples that can vary in price. That's where we see it.
Are you providing a layer of intelligence, or you're just processing information into the particular grocery store system? What is the value? Do you hear me? Come closer.
Yeah.
I know it's kind of weird, so stay close. Anyway, we're giving the money, not them. So
yeah.
So are you processing the information and delivering value of intelligence over the grocery store's platform, or you're just providing the information of what it is there?
Yeah. So it's really. There is a whole process that we do. So there's a whole heap of information that we obtain and then we give to the current system that's there. So we've worked on a protocol and we've created an actual protocol that the supermarkets then adopt to, and then we feed that information to their existing systems.
All right.
I have 2 quick follow-ups. One is your 99% recognition. So is that based on actual implemented supermarkets or test data? And if actual implemented supermarkets, how many thousands or millions of transactions is behind that?
Yeah, so it is based on actual supermarkets. We do have systems in supermarkets right now. I don't have the data to actually base it on how many transactions that's been through.
But is it thousands, millions, trillions?
I'd be the thousands.
Okay.
So do you integrate with our POS system for this to happen?
Yes, that's correct. So that we send that protocol to the existing POS system.
So they do, you expect them to do it or you do it?
It's much like a barcode. So it's, in a lot of senses, already done. So when a person enters in a code onto the system, that code is actually being fed straight through to the device.
But who integrates your system? You integrate it or you expect the supermarkets to do it?
There'll be us and their IT system that will work together to actually do that. So example is our latest store that we've actually fitted out was just over a week worth of integration work for us, and then just under half a day for implementation.
Do you go for a support model, or it's a one-time sale? How do you work?
Yeah, so there's a couple of different models. There's the ongoing yearly support fee that we actually include our support with. There is for smaller supermarkets, that is a one-off fee for just a single model that they have within their system that we pre-train and create for those guys. And then there's a licensing fee where we license our software, white label, to manufacturers that then on-sell to supermarkets.
So you expect to sell each and every integration yourself, or you're using any kind of integrators on the way?
Yeah, we use a whole range of integrators.
Do you have them already?
Yes.
So you have already traction, you have sales, right?
Correct.
What is the ratio between those individual sales and the sales through integrators?
Yeah, so for example, You mean through the distributors or
Yeah,
through the
yeah.
checkout manufacturers?
Yeah.
So most of it comes through the distributors rather than us. So we're using their sales channels to actually reach the supermarkets.
So you train them to service their installments.
Correct. Under a lot of the circumstances, they're the guys creating the hardware. So they're the guys that are selling it, really.
Clear.
So exactly, you're going to need people on the ground to go and train your customers, right? Is this the way you see your growth?
Yeah, I mean, there's probably a lot that we do from a documentation side of things, from a video side of things, but most of that training does occur between us and the provider when we have our initial contact. For example, we're already working with a couple of distributors in Australia that can roll out to thousands of supermarkets.
And then the distributors are going to take care of the after-sales service, or what?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, they're going to do that.
So they look after all of the hardware servicing. That is their department. They actually sell their hardware as a one-off fee, and then we are providing the software.
And in how many places again is it installed already?
So we have installations in Australia, in the US, and
how many points?
Yeah, points.
how many exactly? I don't have the number right now. Sorry.
Is it big, small?
10,
Yeah,
100 or
10,
100.
100?
There'd be 10 different areas. So
10.
where we're starting to see now, we're going through a rollout phase here in Europe at the end of this year. So you'll start to see them actually in some of the major supermarkets.
And my other question is, you seem to be focusing very much on supermarkets, which is great for the beginning. Obviously, you need to some revenue streams for growing, but your immediate growth after that, where do you see it?
Yeah, I think not only in retail, so with some of the scanner manufacturers that we work with, we look at things like maybe handheld scanners or mobile phone scanning and different areas in there. And then we start to look at other industries as well. So I think the biggest areas are the manufacturing areas that are next. And then we start looking at healthcare as well. There's a few other aspects, because we do use the visual spectrum. There's a few things that we can start to work with, such in the actual supermarket line and on the back end as well. But that's where we see.
You're an Australian company, right? Are you based in Australia?
We are an Australian company. We still have a dev team in Australia, but we relocated to Munich, where we set up our German entity.
Okay.
Obviously, having customers across Europe and flying Australia is a long way away from anywhere. We have a lot of customers in the US and Europe. So we've set up our founding group.
You say a lot, but you said only 10 installations. How's that a lot?
Yeah, so all of our contracts, basically our rollout contracts start from now.
Okay.
So hence why the move in January.
Plamen, I can see you really are taking care where you invest your money. So kudos to Martin to be grilled live on stage. We have one more quick question.
So you must have heard of the Amazon contactless shopping experience, isn't it? So you can
say that again.
The Amazon contactless shopping experience.
Yeah, Amazon Go, right?
Right. Exactly. So let's say that's the future. Where do you see your technology fit in? Is it a stopgap arrangement before everyone adopts a very different future, or what is your role in that future?
Yeah, so even in a store like Amazon Go, there is still an opening for this kind of technology to actually be implemented. So, for example, our founding group were at Amazon Go in December last year. Fruits and vegetables, actually, there's no loose fruits and vegetables that are actually in the store. So this particular area is one that is very hard for people to solve, even in the autonomous store scenario.
So you're a niche.
What's that, sorry?
So are you a niche player then?
In a sense, yes. Yes, I would say yes, we're a niche player.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thanks a lot, Martin.
Thank you.
With Tiliter.
Please, let's do this. Let's keep it up to 6 minutes questions, because let's have a little bit more dynamics. I would suggest, fellow jury members,
I totally understand. It's not a small investment you're going to make at the end of the evening,
of course,
so it's important to be very careful.
Definitely.
But yes, I think if we have the same rules for everyone, that should work.
Let's do the 6 minutes signal
Pitch.
for the questions and 3 for the pitch, and then if we decide we go on, we will know at least the 6 minutes were passed.
All right, I understand. So, next one up is Plant E with Mario Lane. Here we already see some of the demo kit, and Marilene is backstage. Please come on stage. Wonderful.
Wow.
You are ready to go?
They have fans, huh?
Yeah, I brought my team.
All right. Before you start, we of course also give you the boost to start. You guys ready? Whoa, let's go, Plant E.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. So I'm Marjolein Helder. I'm the founder and CEO of a company called Plenty, and we produce electricity with living plants. And first, I want to take you along with me on my journey, like why do we do this? Well, the most important thing is we all know that our Earth is changing, climate is changing, and it has dramatic effects already on many lives. And we want to do something about it. So we came up with this fantastic technology to produce electricity with living plants. Now, the nice thing is, it's carbon negative electricity, because while the plant is growing, we can harvest electricity. At the same time, we reduce methane emissions. We can store stormwater, we can increase biodiversity, and we could even treat wastewater with the system. Now, this is how we do it. In short, a plant produces organic matter. Part of the organic matter is excreted into the soil, and bacteria in the soil break down the organic matter. Now, we came up with a device to harvest the electrons that are released by the bacteria, and then you can produce electricity. So that's what we do. And it's not just a theoretical thing, because I'm actually going to show you that it really works. So these plants now generate electricity to light up these LEDs in this box.
How cool is that? Wow, all right. Where is the battery?
So yes, it works. And we're already selling these products, for example, in office spaces for inspiration and increase of air quality. You could do it on rooftops, green roofs, stormwater retention, air quality increase, biodiversity increase, and energy production. We sell this to governments, municipalities mostly, to install in parks as decentralized lighting. We can even do it in floating systems, treat water at the same time, and this is where we're going. Large-scale energy production combined with food in, for example, rice paddies, or in natural areas where we can add a new business model to nature, being energy. So this is our team. We've been working on this technology for a while. We've got 6 people fixed, and then quite a lot of students and part-timers working for us. And we need you to make this a success, scale up, get to the next phase. We're looking for 3 million euros, tickets starting at 125K. So if you believe that like putting your money in trees and plants can actually make it grow, like we do, I invite you to come on board. Thank you.
Well, yeah.
Just for the record, last year's winner of the Webit Founders Games was a company that was producing something like this. We did not close the deal with them because it turned out they gave us wrong information on their revenues. They stated in the documents that they have 800,000 euro. They didn't. And then what I've heard is that basically you have a patent over this,
We do.
which is much before the other company.
They actually infringed our patent.
So it's a cool thing, isn't it? Small world. All right. So
Yeah, so this is actually the original. This is the real deal. So.
All right. This is the original. Okay.
So I have a question on the economics of
Yes.
this. So your primary clients, as you said, is maybe municipalities. So what is the cost of implementing, and what's the time for the payback based on current electricity rates? Do they get their money back in a year, in 5 years, in 100 years?
So for the current products, these are mostly showcase products. There's no economics in that, other than it gets them a lot of media attention and a very good feeling. So the next step we're going to do is scale up the production. That will probably bring the cost down with almost 65%. We could do that within a year, and then actually this would be competitive with any other decentralized lighting system. Nowadays they're mostly doing that with solar panels. If we would do that with plants, we would have like a competitive product that not only produces electricity, but increases biodiversity, stores stormwater. So it has added benefits next to the electricity.
What's the range of kilowatts that you would practically be able to address if, I'm assuming not this is the demo, but if you reduce the cost by 65% and if you scale it, what are you looking in terms of kilowatts?
If we scale to the large-scale system in rice paddies, for example, we can produce about half a watt per square meter. Now, it's important to realize that this is continuous production, so the installed capacity is what you actually continuously produce. So that means that we're at 4.75 kilowatt hours per square meter per year, or about 10 households per hectare. That's where we're going. Baseload electricity, stable throughout the year.
Is that the limit of the system? Physical limit?
No, the theoretical limit is way higher. This is what we think we can practically achieve within 3 years.
For companies like yours and this kind of technology, I am really not interested in the economics. I think this is the stage of this kind of technology to be pushed as max.
Sorry, I can't hear you really badly.
To push this
Come
technology.
closer. Yeah. I know it's weird, so come closer.
I'm not interested in the economics when I see technology like this. And I see the real challenge in terms of scalability, and then also because it's somehow too good to be true. And sometimes it takes time to convince people that it actually works. So you must consider the cost, you must consider who's your client, who you are talking to, and based on that, the communication-wise, it must be very, very strong. But having said that, I'm not really interested in the economics for this stage. I think it's an amazing technology, but again, you must convince people, me included, that it's not only too good to be true, but it works, and it works also for bigger scale. Because this is the thing. This is great, but I would like to see it in a bigger scale.
Okay. I have a question about the maintenance, because the way you showed the diagram, so there was the cathode and anode dug into the ground. If I start digging to uproot the plants or whatever it is, how do you protect for that?
So if you are going to install this system at a location where there's indeed plowing going on, you would need to go deeper than the plowing, which is not a problem. We have done tests on several depths and found that it doesn't really matter how deep you put it. So basically, we have developed a generic product that we can apply in any type of wetland, and we can adjust it, like the way we install it, based on the other application of the same land. Because we're talking multiple land use. If you have a rice paddy where there's plowing going on, you will probably go a little bit deeper so that you don't interfere with the plowing. If you have a natural wetland where you don't want to disturb the subsoil too much, you would probably install the system a bit more shallow. So the interesting thing is the product is generic, so that doesn't change. It's just the installation that's a little bit different and adapted to the specific circumstances.
And it has to be always moist or wet for it to work?
Yes. But the interesting thing is there's enough wetlands in the world to generate 3 times the energy demand with this technology.
How far are you from a real product in terms of time and money? I mean, mass product. You go on market, you sell, and there is a price, there is a real value for the user. I want to do this. So how far away are you from that particular moment? Again, price for doing it and time to achieve it.
So 3 million investment, 5 years time, we're full scale with the large scale electricity
3
production on
million,
the market.
5 years.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions?
So it seems like, first of all, I think you should win it just because your demo is super cool.
Amazing.
Thanks.
Secondly, it is definitely low voltage. So the question is what it is actually powering. And the other thing is he mentioned cost. You're competing with the natural power source, which is solar on this. And and as you know, solar at the end of the day is expensive, but here you have installation that are more expensive. So not what the product is, which is, I think, you know, with the product market fit is something you need to.
I agree. Very short answer. Actually, this will become cheaper than solar. We're going towards 4.5 to 6 cents per kilowatt hours because the materials we use are bulk materials, incredibly cheap and very easy to produce. So that makes it very competitive, actually. Sorry, you said another thing?
It's like the power out, the output.
Oh, yeah,
of
the
it
voltage.
Yes.
Solar panels produce 0.6 volts.
It depends what kind
we're
of
in the same range. So the voltage is not that important because solar panels as well need converters. So do we. We need a harvesting device to convert the low voltage to something that's useful. We can already do this on such a small scale. Now when we get to a hectare scale, that's even going to be easier. So that's not going to be a problem. We can apply this both on-grid and off-grid.
Well, these are very nice plants, but actually it's not food. So what about food? Does food produce electricity? Let's say rice.
Yes.
The big rice fields in China,
Yes.
can we use them?
Yes.
Oh, good. Well,
That's where
there
we
are
want to
rice
go.
fields also other places. That's cool. That's interesting.
And
So-
that can happen also in normal warehouses if you want to produce indoor. Or does it need to be outside? Can
No.
it be?
It can be both outdoors and indoors.
Okay.
Regardless of the plants you're using, basically any type of plant could work. The only thing is that our system needs to be submerged in water. So in this box, there's water up to this level. So this level for the audience.
And there is no battery here, isn't there?
No.
No? Okay.
This is direct energy production.
touch
yeah, go
this?
ahead.
Can I?
Yeah, push the button. Like it's programmed to like turn on and off, like randomly.
Because we're out of time, I just wanted
All right.
to encourage you because the solar panels, it took, again, decades to develop from beginning to end. You're in the beginning of that revolution. So I just want to encourage you, keep on going and bring it up. We want to see it working, really.
Absolutely.
We want to see it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, great.
Yeah, well said.
All
Well
right. That's cool.
Thanks a lot. Marjolijn of Plant E. Yes. Okay, we wait a second.
All right, it's beautiful. You can stay here.
Yes, we can roll it to the side maybe as decoration over there.
Push the button from time to time.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a free extra to our stage. Electrified plants. Wow. All right, that's cool. All right, thank you. Next one, please.
So next one up is also a woman in tech, and that is Mihaela for WeFarm. Welcome on stage.
I didn't ask which country. Hello, hey, let's do the thing, guys.
All right, that's your spot. Please address the audience and the jury at the same time. Are you ready to go? Presentation is set up.
Come on, it's not going to be fair. Tell them to do the...
Yes, we do that, of course. Oh, let's go.
Now it's fair. Which country are you from?
Bulgaria.
Oh, welcome.
Cool. Okay.
It's not fair, I know.
That's it, you win.
Yeah,
Cool. So let's start.
Please.
Yeah. So there is 1 billion small-scale farmers around the world. They produce the majority of the food we eat, 80% in fact. However, 90% yet remain digitally unconnected until WeFarm. WeFarm is the world's largest knowledge network and marketplace for small-scale agriculture. For those farmers, WeFarm is connection. They can access and share information on anything from diseases to new crops, all for free and not needing any internet connection. I want you to meet Victor. He's a tea farmer in Kenya. He has been looking after tea, but faces a pest that he's never seen before. What he does is he simply sends a text message, a free one, to WeFarm, describing his problem. What we do is we take that message and we analyze it using cutting-edge machine learning technology to understand who's best to answer Victor's question. His question lands with Doris, one of our users, who actually has been facing that pest for the past few years. So she's able to share her knowledge and reply to Victor for him to solve the problem on his farm. So ultimately, he's able to save his crops. We launched in 2015, and 4 years after, we are actually processing more than 30,000 messages daily. We do that, and every question, or majority of the questions, get an answer within an hour. We do that in 8 different languages. For 1.6 million already, WeFarm is connection, and they use it a lot. The question and answers we process monthly are actually more than some of the online platforms that do that, like Quora or Stack Overflow. We also have more contributions coming to WeFarm monthly than Wikipedia. Imagine the power of all these organic conversations coming to life. Those are people that are in the core of the supply chain, and we are able to know each and every problem and challenge they face. So we can now start utilizing that insight and are able to map crop patterns or drought and diseases, even live price information from the source. Our vision is to build an ecosystem for the global agriculture and a marketplace for all the players in the agriculture sector. So it wouldn't matter if you're a local business selling seeds to farmers or if you're a multinational buying their crops. You'll all use WeFarm to access, market, finance, quality products and services, or information and knowledge. On the way to building that vision, we're actually putting always and firmly in the center the farmer. Let's go back to Victor, who's actually not only able to connect to farmers, get access to information, but he's now able to buy discounted products and get access to a marketplace. In the future, he'll hopefully get access to loans, and we see improvement in our farmers with 75% of them improving their livelihood. Our product starts and ends with our farmers. It's the powerful effect of WeFarm.
Thank you. Yeah. Thanks a lot, Michaela.
All right.
Please stay here for the jury. Move a bit closer because the monitors on stage are very silent, so you can go closer.
Here you
go. Job well done, bro.
I have a question. So I've read about systems like this in Kenya and down in Africa. Is that yours? That's a competitor. How long have you been in Africa?
So do you have an example of a system?
The same thing, getting information about market prices and droughts, other things. Is that you or it's another system? I don't know.
No, so there's quite a few different solutions in Africa, but none of them do the peer-to-peer as we do it. So where the magic comes is kind of going back into that matching of, with machine learning, being able to match actually what is the right answer for each farmer, but equally using that machine learning to understand our users, we're now able to offer a user a much more tailored approach. A lot of the systems that are present in Africa now, unfortunately, are very top-down or are done in ways that are not very practical for the farmer. We use SMS, which is something they use daily.
What can help you the most to succeed further?
Succeed further?
Yeah.
I think, obviously, funding is a big thing. Right. We have an amazing team that is able to execute, and now being able to get the funds to get to scale is probably the biggest.
So you don't need our brains, you only need our money. Is that correct? No, I mean it. No. I mean it.
No,
because I'll tell you why I ask. Because generally, I love it, but we basically want to support both with money and resources people that we really can help through our global network. And it's true. I mean, people here on that stage, like there is nobody you cannot access in this world through these people.
Yeah.
And the question is how we can help you, because that would be genuine. It's a great idea. Everything's great, but do you need only our money, or we can really help you somehow else?
No, that's we have a whole laundry list.
Money always helps. I know. Yeah, I know.
So a few on the top of the list, connections, obviously being able, we work in countries that require a lot of connections to be able to achieve things we want to achieve. Telecommunications.
Is it governmental connections you need? Do you need
government,
governments?
telecommunications.
Governments in Africa will do the job.
Sorry?
Will governments in Africa do the job? Come.
Yeah,
Will governments in Africa do the job for you? Would governments be a good help for you?
They definitely will. I think all partners, multinationals, telecom.
Telecom works? Okay.
Yes, telecom are big. We currently use shortcodes. So therefore, connections with any telecom, big telecoms in Africa are a huge use.
Okay, that
being able
makes
to get
sense.
shortcodes and access.
All right.
Geolocation by SMS, if anyone has any way of getting this.
So I think that agro-tech is a hot thing right now. And it looks like from the slide you didn't show us, you have like US ventures, like True Ventures.
Yeah.
John is a very good guy and he's very connected. You are a very fast-growing space. Don't know why you like Nokia phones on your presentation. Nobody uses Nokia phones. You have Nokia phones on your presentation.
Yeah.
Like,
where did you find these pictures from?
Like, who uses Nokia phone? Seriously.
That's the reality of farmers, though. We do have farmers using their phones with a toothpick to use WeFarm.
So
don't waste time.
You're connecting the farmers, and basically you're creating you are working on the supply chain from the farmers all the way to the enders, which is a fantastic space, by the way. But your customers I see on this one are like how does Samsung fit into that one? Isn't your sweet spot produce? Because you're working farmers, like Samsung doesn't work with farmers.
Definitely.
So aren't you kind of working with, aren't you taking like Whole Foods out because they charge like enormous amount of money so we can get like fresh grapes? Isn't that what your sweet spot is?
I think, so the idea is to create that kind of ecosystem and marketplace where there will be multiple actors. So yes, there will be a big part about the agribusiness. So that's definitely probably a focus for us at the moment. But we are also doing a lot of trials with some different companies, like P&G and Samsung have been really interesting trials for selling mobile phones, smartphones via WeFarm. So when a farmer increased their livelihood, they're now able to afford more.
But isn't so agro by itself, what you just started with, it's a massive space.
Yeah.
I mean, your name of the company is farmers, right? Selling mobile phones is not that, right? So point is, why not just dominate that space? Because there are a bunch of other companies who have played in this space successfully. I mean, you're obviously doing something right on that space, and you have good stuff on this. So what hasn't worked?
I think we're just starting off, obviously, with a lot of those partners. So you can see there's Heifer or Pret a Manger and Unilever. Actually, Unilever is one of the biggest tea producers. So the work we do with them is actually about their tea farmers. So some of the projects we've done with them are not always necessarily, they're different trials to monetize. And I think we are seeing actually really good behavior from the farmer in terms of buying behavior. That's some of the behavior we've been looking to exercise with Samsung and P&G. But we've also seen amazing behavior when it comes to us using the system for good with Heifer, for example. And Pret and Unilever have been really good partners in giving us access to their farmers they work with. So those are just different examples of the things that we've tried through the years. But definitely there's a lot more in the agri space that we are just about to go.
Are you a marketplace of farmers, or are you a supply chain optimization for farmers?
Not supply chain organization, so we are a marketplace. Ultimately, we're a facilitator where there will be different actors from the market. We have the farmers, and they're obviously in the center. We definitely want to give them the power. But they should be able to get access to first information, which we have already built, and they're using. Second,
clear.
products. Yeah.
More questions because time is running up.
Quickly, just you need to increase the number of farmers who are going to use your technology, right? So are you already ready to expand in other jurisdictions, in other countries, in other areas of the world? Yeah. Latin America, for instance?
Yeah. That's a very good question. We've actually launched this year in Tanzania, and we've already have, I think, around 25,000 users just for the first few months of the year, and growing. Our next targets will probably be countries like West Africa, India,
okay, so you're going to concentrate yourself there, which is
great.
Latin
America in the future, to be honest. Good. Yes, for sure. Small scale. Yeah.
Great. Questions? No? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Michaela of WeFarm. Picking up on praising Sofia, I actually heard that Sofia has an unusual large percentage of female engineers. Like
No,
I think
it's
around
not unusual.
40%
It's very
or
usual
something.
here. Every third person in technology in Bulgaria is a female. Every second person with technological education is a female.
So that
it's
certainly
very
is
usual. Bulgaria is a global leader.
main-
Particularly in Europe, #1. The second next is half of that numbers. Globally, I think it's also #1.
I think that's a huge driver of innovation.
Well,
the
that's, if you see my
diversity.
wife, you know why. You know, it's man under slippers. So let's go for the next one, please.
All right. From Sofia, I think we actually moved to the US. And next on stage is a startup Dynasise with Chung pitching. Welcome on stage.
Right here? Thanks.
Yes, that's your spot, jury here. Yes, have an occasional glance over there, unless you address the audience. Are you ready to go?
I'm ready to go.
You ready to go? All right, let's give it up for Chung. Oh!
Thanks, everyone. I've been working on this project since I was 20 years old. It's been almost a decade. I never imagined being here on stage talking about my vision for a better future. Before I get started, I do want to give a shout out to my team, both in Bulgaria as well as in the United States. About 30 people sacrificed their lives and careers and for this vision, and I really appreciate that. So let's give them a round of applause before I get started. Let's talk about diabetes. We're a company called Dynasise. I'm Chun. I'm the CEO, co-founder. Our mission is to modernize and simplify diabetes management for doctors and patients across the world. Diabetes is a huge epidemic, 422 million with it in the world, a lot more at risk, but we're not doing a very good job with it. As diabetes develops and gets worse, complications get worse, and that drives up healthcare costs. We're paying a lot of dollars for it. But to manage it is pretty tough. As it's earlier stage, as it's developing, you can manage it with coaching, diet, exercise, lifestyle changes, and there are great solutions for that today. But when it comes towards the later stage, when it becomes more complicated, it becomes really tough, and prescribing, monitoring, and medication from a physician, from a doctor, becomes necessary. It's not really a good solution for that, and that's where we come in. So introducing Dynasise and how are we revolutionizing and modernizing how diabetes management is done in the doctor's office. Pretty simple. We have developed actually the first to market comprehensive remote patient monitoring solution and pharmacotherapy management platform. Talk about that in a bit. We partner with great device companies, monitoring companies, hardware out there, and we help them resell their devices to patients and clinics. We also provide staffing services. We have professional, clinical professionals going into these doctors' offices, helping them run this program and manage their populations. And last but not least, probably one of the most important things is we have established payment mechanisms for these clinics to make money off of this. In the United States, you could actually get paid as a clinic or as a physician under government insurance as well as private insurance now to actually use our platform to deliver better care to your patients. So let's talk about the technology really quickly. We have a patient engagement platform. It's really simple, allows the patients to record their sugars, monitor themselves, look at the medications, receive messages from their healthcare team. If you're an elderly diabetic, as most are, you could actually use one of our partner meters. It's got a SIM card in it, so you don't have to learn how to use an app or a smartphone to transmit your numbers easily to the healthcare team. But really the magic happens in the physician portal. There's really nothing like this that exists today. We aggregate all the patients and all their data into one simple place, and we help drive their workflows. We have a population health engine that really looks at the numbers in 24/7, provides some recommendations, red flag patients that might require immediate attention, or maybe some more routine patients that might just require some more routine management. Magic happens right in the dashboard. We aggregate all the data in one nice place, such as the patient's demographics, their labs, their glucose values, their trends, how they're doing, what medications they're on, and the cherry on top, we actually provide recommendations for how to manage every single diabetes medication on the market. In the United States, where there are about 100 different diabetes meds, tough to keep up with, we program all of that in our system, and we help our physicians out, and as a result, we help their patients out as well. So my time is running out, so I'm just going to close it, and I hope that we can join together and, let's work together to help improve lives. Diabetes is a huge epidemic, so let's get it done, guys. Thank you very much.
I can start. Great job, great unmet need. Where are you with actually rolling this out? That's question number one. Question number two, how does it integrate in with the workflow of the clinician? Is it into the EMRs? and are using any sort of big data approach to crowdsource the data from your diabetics to improve the algorithms.
Do you remind, can you repeat your first question? I couldn't
Come
get it.
closer.
Come closer.
First question is, where are you in actually implementing this? Is this a vision or is it actually rolled out?
Yep.
2, how do you get into the workflow of clinicians, into the EMR or the actual day-to-day work? And then 3rd, are you able to use this data to kind of crowdsource and improve the algorithms?
Great question. So the first question is, where are we from a rollout standpoint? We formed a company in 15, launched the product and services in 18 when we actually got our first reimbursements from Medicare, which is the big government reimbursement company, big healthcare insurance in the United States. As of right now, we're projected to hit about 10,000 patients by the end of this year, serving about maybe 400 to 500 doctors. We're in 7 states right now in the United States, so call it we're early launch, but we're getting really good experience. Number 2, about your workflow, this actually integrates pretty nicely into their workflow. What we have found is with a lot of our clients, this actually improves their workflow inside of the office because we're actually gathering a lot of data for those appointments. Typical office appointment with a doctor, when you see their, your diabetic, takes about 15 to 30 minutes. 90% of that time is actually interrogating the patient, hey, what has been going on for the last 3 or 6 months? Because they are monitoring their data on a daily basis, all in our platform, we put it all nicely, they actually are able to spend more time doing that. The question then is how much time are they able to spend beyond that to actually remotely manage the patients in between those office visits from a month-to-month basis. Some offices have actually carved out one of their nurses or their staff to actually monitor this as part of their clinic's program. But actually, to be frank, most of the market is not ready to do that yet. Most clinics are overworked, understaffed, they're too busy to take on this new program. And so as a result, what we have done this year was actually to add this new this professional clinical services arm that I guess it's not up there anymore, to actually help supplement the clinic. We would actually hire nurses, we would put them in the clinic and actually do it for the doctor, help them generate that revenue, and then we take a split out of that. So that's been our business model there. As far as integration into EMRs, we actually have a big pipeline of integrations coming out fairly soon this year, so we're pretty excited about that. And then last but not least, do we use the data to improve our algorithms? The team is kind of small right now, but eventually we do want to do that.
And last follow-up on that, how would you measure value? Are you going to see lower hemoglobin A1Cs?
That's right. We actually produce a lot of great outcomes. Within 3 months, we're able to get patients to go and keep them there at goal for a pretty long time. We have published several studies, one back in 2015 before we formed the company. We're getting a lot of great real-world data right now that's showing the same exact outcomes out there. So from a value standpoint, depending on the constituent, for a payer or an insurance company or like a Medicare, we are absolutely reducing the risk of complications from being developed. We have a lot of studies that show that we're able to reduce the risk from anywhere from 44% to upwards of more than that in terms of risk reduction of those complications that cost these payers a lot of money. For the physicians and the clinics, we're helping them generate additional revenue with these new service tickets, and for the patient, hey, better health, and more engagement with the practice.
Quick question: who funds it, and what's the price of it?
Who has funded the company?
No. The service.
The services. So the services are funded primarily by the big healthcare insurance companies in the United States. We have Medicare, which is the biggest national one, and then we have private insurance companies like Blue Cross Blue Shield, Aetna, Humana, etc. Those are the ones that are paying the clinics to provide these services to their members, to their beneficiaries. We actually sell our services to those clinics. We help them generate that revenue, and then we take a fee depending on what we're selling. We sell, for example, the software platform at a very SaaS model to the clinics. It's free for the patients. We also help resell a lot of the monitoring supplies and devices, and we do take a cut out of that. And if we are providing service professionals in the office, we generally take about 60% or so of the cut of what they're making for the clinic. So,
right.
Yes.
But what's the price? Like, is it per patient? Is it what's the price that either the insurance or the clinic?
Oh yeah. So for example, Medicare, which is the big government insurance, they pay actually about on average $51 per patient per month for each service. Pretty significant.
So from Maria, who is one of the large insurance company called Anthem. She's
actually running the innovation. Where is Maria?
She's somewhere sitting there, and I'm kind of doing something.
Hey, Maria.
I'm going to read her question to you. said, what metrics do they track, or do you track that patients are using it? Engaging with the platform, improving patient A1Cs, right?
All of the above. All of the above is very important. I think primarily what physicians care about is that the patients are self-monitoring and giving them the data so that the physicians can actually do something for the patient. So that's number one. Testing and monitoring compliance is a big metric for us. Whether the physicians actually respond to that, whether they follow some of our recommendations to actually act on it and improve patient care, that's another big metric. But ultimately, what we do want to do is help control glucose. A1C is a big metric to a lot of these payers because that's how they measure risk, and that's something that we track a lot as well, amongst many other things.
Well, that only proves that your pitching here is quite amazing. Huh?
Thank
you.
you.
Have Anthem in the room that is looking at you. Even if we don't get the funding here, maybe you'll hear from them later.
Perhaps,
any other questions from the audience? Just kidding. Do you have any other questions? All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, John. So we actually come to our very last startup, our sort of choker startup, number 6. And that will be from the UK, TestCard, and pitching will be Luke. Welcome on stage. He's coming, he's coming. I can see some commotion backstage. He's from the UK, so getting here is a bit more difficult. Welcome, Luke. Awesome. Please take your spot in the center stage. Yes, don't forget to look at the jury once in a while.
Sure.
And you ready to go?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. So let's give him a boost. Oh, let's go.
Hi everyone, my name is Luke. I am from TestCard. We are a British-Bulgarian startup based in London and Plovdiv. At TestCard, we have created an at-home urine test diagnostic. It's been made in card. It's a flat-pack urine test kit that embeds the typical urinalysis dipsticks that doctors and physicians have been using for many years. But our difference is that we're using our proprietary tech to use the camera on your phone as a clinical grade scanner. We remove the ambient and interfering light that's present in a room and to basically simulate the same conditions that a fixed terminal scanner used in hospitals and clinics around the world to create those same conditions and allow a layperson, a user in the privacy, comfort and convenience of home to get a test result for a number of diseases and conditions. So one of the first tests that we developed is this one featured here. This was developed for the health insurer Aetna, and Aetna is rolling this out in emerging markets, starting in India later this year, where for the first time, a very cost-effective solution, our product is manufactured at a cost of 30 cents per unit. They can distribute this to their clients across India and get a clinical grade response using a smartphone. So isolation is the biggest issue facing healthcare globally. That's geographic. People can live remote locations. TestCard addresses that head on. There's social stigmas often attached to certain diseases and conditions. Sexually transmitted infections are a great example of that. TestCard offers privacy. Economic isolation, and we're not just talking about emerging economies here, but also the US is a great example of where healthcare has become prohibitively expensive. And of course, the elderly and mental health issues can sometimes prevent people from actually seeking healthcare in the first instance. They don't leave their home to get the healthcare and attention that they need. So the first 3 products that come to market over the summer this year are the glucose product in partnership with Aetna, our UTI test kit, which is being distributed via the NHS in Northwest London later this year, and will be available in the Superdrug and Holland & Barrett and other stores, and negotiations are underway with other retailers. And a pregnancy test, which for the first time will offer a due date for a positive test, and for a negative test will give an insight into the right time to try and conceive. In terms of what's possible, we started this company as a result of a conversation with my co-founder, Dr. Andrew Botham, and I about how bad men are at going to the doctors. Women are so much better than men are at this. And we created a PSA, a prostate-specific antigen test, but via urinalysis. So this is going to be a test that has got a fairly long regulatory pathway, but we're expecting to have that product ready within the next 18 months. It's ready and working now, but the regulatory pathway is quite long. But other products that will be coming to market this year include our STI screens for chlamydia, for gonorrhea, a pregnancy management tool which can measure for preeclampsia and gestational diabetes, and some long-term kidney disease management. So our company is based in the UK and in Plovdiv here in Bulgaria, and I look forward to answering your questions.
Yeah. We were, just for the record, we were completely geography agnostic, and even I didn't know that they're two Bulgarian. Kind of a you're not exactly Bulgarian looking at you.
You said UK Bulgarian.
UK Bulgaria. So
British Bulgarian. It depends who pitches.
I was just joking. So please go ahead with the questions.
So I got a question from the audience.
How do you get all the questions from the audience?
I'm connected.
All
Sorry.
right, well, I thought I was connected here. Come on, guys.
It says, how is TestCard different from Healthy IO solutions?
So there's a number of companies. Healthy.io is one, Scamwell's another, and Inui is the third company. And actually their presence in the market has really helped us. It expedites our FDA submission, which is going in right now. So those three companies, that, including Healthy.io, they rely on a backplate in order to provide context for the test.
Actually, I can come closer.
Yeah.
Actually, Daniel Kraft is an investor in Healthy.io, aren't you?
Just friends.
Kind of. All right. Yeah. So it's yeah.
Healthy.io's product works great. But it relies on a backplate. It has a group of colors in order for the camera to correctly contextualize and provide the response. Our test is the first that allows a user to literally hold the test strip with one hand and the camera with the other, which is a far more intuitive, natural way to do a test. So the issue of ambient and interfering light is one that I think that we've addressed perfectly, and I think the other companies are probably a little bit further away.
Right. What is your business model?
So we're multi-channel. The product is, as I mentioned, is manufactured for 30 cents now in the UK, but we've got a manufacturing facility in India that goes live later in the summer, where the production costs fall to just 5 cents. So you're looking at a product that, when it comes to retail later this year, at £4, $5, €5, we're looking at a gross profit margin of over 95%, whilst also offering a massive cost advantage to users who are able to get diagnosis at home without having the inconvenience of going to a doctor, and obviously without the implied cost of a doctor visit.
So
question around. Oh, sorry.
You mentioned the regulatory route. Where are you actually on getting this approved? Is it approved, and have you done clinical trials that compare this to others?
So the test has been, our tests have been, the ones that come to market this year have been trialed 1,000 times. The CE mark for our UTI test and the pregnancy test will be live from the end of next month, so they will be free for sale in the UK from July. We're plotting to start distributing this from the beginning of September onwards. So that's good for the UK and for the EU. In terms of the US FDA submission, that's a 510K for the UTI product and for the pregnancy, which should indicate a launch date there of December, worst case scenario April next year. But the other products have a longer regulatory pathway.
I've got a question on data. It was a three-part question. So how do you solicit approval from your users to get their data? Where do you store it? And do you have any plans to use the data for something else?
So I love the question. TestCard has a private key installed on the app. So when you create an account, your username, your gender is kept on one server. Your results are kept over there. The only thing that links the two together is the key on your phone. However, because the pathway in some countries will be, if you get a positive test for a UTI, for example, we would offer a follow-on doctor appointment or a pharmacist, a prescribing pharmacist. You would have to give your implied permission in order to bring those two pieces of information together in order to provide the prescription. But we have no immediate plans to do anything with the data, and we would not be able to do so without the express permission of the user in any event. So in answer to how we treat data, it's as carefully as any company in our position would do so.
Anonymized data that you're having at the end of
so
the
our
day?
data is completely anonymized. Although we've got the username, we've got the person's name, their gender, their age, etc. That data is kept separately from the results to the tests that they do.
Yeah.
Okay. So if an insurance company, let's say, for argument's sake, becomes your investor and they ask you to go and collect on behalf of their health patients, would you be sharing data with the insurance company?
So are you referring to it? Because Aetna is one of the world's largest health insurers. We're already working with them. The relationship that we have with them is a specific diagnosis only. So Aetna has no intention, at the moment at least, of doing anything with that data as it's collected, other than where a patient is diagnosed and it looks like they are diabetic, they are forwarding them to their doctor on demand service. So it's really we only really want the data to add value to the user, to help them get the help if they need it. But if not, there's no value really for us in the data.
What is your current status with Aetna? Are you signing the deal, or it's only...
So Aetna has signed a letter of intent to roll TestCard out globally. In terms of when it's going ahead in India, that will start in September of this year. It had been intended to start in October, but they've been pushing for this to happen sooner. In terms of, it's worth noting that we actually completed a 3-month pilot with Roche last week, where our tech was found to be provably as accurate as their fixed terminal scanners that are used in hospitals. So that's beginning an interesting commercial discussion with Roche now as well. So I think the opportunity for us globally is very significant, not just because of the low margins, but really for us, it's about disrupting healthcare globally.
Indeed. So you have Roche and you have Aetna.
Aetna, the NHS in Northwest London, and we've got signed letters now for retail distribution with the Co-op. It's a 2,000 store chain in the UK, from Superdrug and from Holland and
That
Barrett.
sounds like a very good story.
Yeah, well,
very good story.
Thanks very
Bravo,
much.
Congratulations. More questions?
Just a quick use case question. So
Sure.
obviously, this is very convenient for patients who want accurate test results. I saw drug testing as one of those where the patient may not want to get real results. So in that case, is your use case that it would be administered, I mean, they would use your product, but it would still be in a facility where it would be monitored, that you can match that is actually the patient that is being tested?
Yep. The drug screen product is a lateral flow test. Our tech is able to read those very precisely. The use case for that is really an employer-based model. It's not about keeping data, it's about an employment-based decision. So that is a very, very different product set to the medical-based products that we've been talking about.
Where are you on that product?
So that product is actually available for sale now. The regulatory pathway for a drug screen is considerably lower than it is for a product where you're looking for a healthcare outcome. That product is available and is being distributed.
Which countries is being distributed?
So only in the UK at the moment, but it will be available here within the next couple of months.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So is the NHS going to pay you per test? How do you get paid if it's only 30 cents a card?
I'm so sorry, I didn't hear that.
It only costs 30 cents a card, which is great.
To manufacture, yep.
So is NHS paying you per test?
The NHS were typical of the NHS. They announced that they were distributing us prior to actually telling us themselves. So the price point actually hasn't been agreed yet, but I assure you it will be at a generous margin, but also it will be well within the NHS's ability to afford. It's worth noting that the cost of an NHS GP appointment, it ranges between £38 and £100 depending on where you are in the UK. So to avoid a patient going in with a UTI, for example, which is the main use case in this instance, it's a massive cost saving, whatever they're paying.
All right, sounds like we're through with all the questions that you need to know. You feel, yes?
I have a final one.
Please.
How difficult would it be to copy you? So somebody takes one of your cards, runs an analysis on whatever chemicals you have that are proprietary, I guess.
The test strips that we use in our tests are widely available. The proprietary element of our product is the ability for the camera to read the test without any interference from the light conditions in a room, and basically to simulate the same conditions that are present in a fixed terminal scanner, to level the playing field in a testing environment between a hospital and someone in there.
But I think he's asking, how is that protected?
We filed a bunch of patents. Some will stick, some won't. Regulatory filings and patent applications are a sort of a continuous feature of a business like ours. So we filed 4 patents this month. So we expect a lot of the tech to stick, but it's possible that some won't, but enough of it will. I think the difficulty is, I think you could put 100 developers together in one room and try and emulate or simulate or copy the tech that we've created, and you might be able to find a different way of getting there, but I think it would take a very long time to do so. It involves a lot of luck and a lot of skill.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, thanks a lot, Luke. All right. Do you feel confident to make a decision? You're going to have a very tough job. We calculated 10 minutes, not to keep the audience waiting too long. Do you think that's manageable?
Yeah, sure.
Yes. So what we'll do is...
Let's go backstage and we'll come back.
You will rush backstage. We will see you here in 10 minutes.
Absolutely.
In the meanwhile, we have some impressions here and some music, and we'll be back here in 10 minutes, so that's around 45.
Hey.
See you in a minute. guys. Whoa! Let the games end. We will know who is going to be the winner of the Founder Games 2019. One of the selected 6 made it all the way to the top. And I'm very curious to find out in just a moment. So let's welcome the jury, the advisors, and all the startups on stage. Please join us. Yeah. Please move to the front, to the green line.
Huge chat.
Yes. The advisors, the jury is here.
What do you mean?
Oh, it's okay. It's just
Okay, the startups.
Yeah, come on.
Before,
Everybody here? Quite the line. Okay.
Before we call the startups on stage to join us, actually, was it easy to find somebody and select the winner?
Oh, you're kidding. It's been an amazing lineup of really top founders and ideas, and it's been amazing. So we were absolutely humbled and at the same time excited, because this is a great opportunity for us as business angels, investors to support founders. And before we continue, though, I would like to celebrate that particular moment and to further make it special. I would like to ask the whole team, at least the part of it that's here, volunteers, the Webit team, the Webit.Foundation, the Academy, all of the team, and then all of the all the thousands of people that helped will not be able to jump here on the stage, but everybody get on the stage wherever you are. Come on.
Yes, please join us on stage. Come on.
Everybody from Webit. Here it is, Elina. Welcome, Elina. They deserve your rounds of applauses. Yeah, come on, Rado. Come on. Get everybody on the stage. Damian, everybody. All the Webit team. And all the startups, everybody get on the stage. Come on.
Yes,
without the
second row
volunteers,
behind us.
it wouldn't be happening. Without these amazing people, it wouldn't be happening. I owe everything to my team, because it's the most amazing super Webit team in the world. And Aniela is doing a very good job in saying thank you. So maybe, there she is. So, Aniela, can you please help? Can I have a microphone? Anybody with a mic?
Yes,
yeah.
here. There
So I wish first Aniela goes with this, because I'm too excited. So I don't want to miss any of our important partners here. Please, Aniela, say your words.
I would like to say thank you to all the people that are members of the teams of all our amazing partners. Because without the people, nothing is possible, including Visa, Microsoft, SAP, Live TV Data, who else? I mean, all the partners at all the summits, Bayer, IBM Watson, everybody, the people in Right Rental, Events Rental, MasterCard, people from Joker Media. You rock, guys.
Oh,
you
yeah,
really
baby.
rock. You rock, guys.
Joker.
So everybody, the ladies that were after us, cleaning for us, each and every person that is important for all us to be here, to spend our time for 3 days, to enjoy.
And what about the amazing volunteers?
All the volunteers, they're amazing.
Thank you.
Guys, thank you.
You
There
guys
are too
rock.
many of them
You're
are
the most
outside.
beautiful face of Bulgaria. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you to everybody. And of course, Webit team. This is the dream team. Thank you, Webiters.
Yeah, absolutely. The best ever. All right, so now, let's start with the awards. Andrew, I know you have to choose one. And I know it must be a tough choice, so...
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, look, you've seen them. You've seen what a fantastic job all the startups did when they came up here and pitched. And it was, you know, we didn't just deliberate them. We've been talking about this for a while. And I think what I'm really pleased to say is Dynasise, you are the Microsoft
Congratulations.
startups. Where are we? Oh, there we go. Excellent. Well done. Now listen. Okay, well, that was unusual. So, do you know what, though? We couldn't really do that, could we? You know what? Everyone did such an amazing job. Microsoft is going to support all of you with $120,000 through Microsoft. Bring that out as well. Can we get the team to bring out the checks? They did an amazing job. You all did an amazing job.
Oh, that's cool.
Where are the
Yes.
startups? Where are the
Where are you
companies?
guys?
Where
So
are they
over
all?
there, yeah, all the startups.
Come on, here we go. Exactly. Tesla,
Look,
TestCard,
go in front,
fantastic. Come on up
Come
to the
to the
front.
first row.
Come on up.
Mihaela.
Go ahead.
Yes,
There
come
we
to the
go.
first row, Mihaela, please.
Bruce.
All right.
And we've got WeFarm as well. Excellent. Here we go. Fantastic. Well done. Big round of applause, please.
Bravo.
Well done.
All right. That was very cool, Microsoft. That was very cool, Andrew.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you for granting this amazing
Oh,
opportunity for
absolutely.
the
We can sort that
for
out.
the Webit entrepreneurs here on the stage. Now it's time for the cash, right? Sorry. Are you? Do you have any doubts? Anybody with doubts? You wanted one of these? Right. No, it's good. Yeah, that's a good idea. All right. So we've been through some tough discussions. Yeah. Can you please go a little bit right and more further right? Yeah, go. Yeah, you're already awarded, so maybe we will find someone else to give the cash. Okay, no, I'm kidding. So, yeah, the money will go to one of all these amazing startups and founders. Only one will get the cash. You know that usually at Webit, we are very straightforward. We have announced that the cash will be up to 200,000, right? So you don't expect that it will be more, it could be less. But honestly speaking, this year, we thought that it will be good to support initiative that has a global impact and could change. And the change is there. And we saw it, and we were absolutely united. It's not only business. It's not only making things happen. It's changing the way that the future of some people could be. And actually quite a lot of people. So may I ask for the check, please? Oh, it comes with security. That's good. Yeah, it's a lot of money. I agree. I agree. Yeah, it should be secured. Yeah, don't show it to anybody, please. Don't show it. So, yeah. So the whole idea was that we want really an impact, right? That's where we are going. We want an impact, and that impact should go to only one company. It should be only one. It cannot be more. So which do you think is the company? Which one? Yeah, but these are our money, not your money, so it's us to say where it goes. Ladies and gentlemen, the jury, and I thank to all of you, Diego, Shokat, and Jesus, and where is the jury, huh? No, I'm just wasting time, don't worry. The jury said the winner is WeFarm. 250,000.
Congratulations.
Zimigo, foi. Otvarаш. Otvara, samo. She's doing farming, not opening of champagnes. Oh, that's enough. Joker Media will kill us. All right, congratulations. That's it. You are the winner. I think we burned something. It smells burnt. Did somebody die? No. All right. Well, everybody, this was an amazing Webit.Festival 2019. It was a true journey in the future. Congratulations to the winners. Congratulations to all of you. And thank you all for being here with us in Sofia in 2019. See you next somewhere in the world at another Webit, and definitely here in Sofia and in Valencia 2020. Thank you.